All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the biggest fight to be taking place in boxing anytime soon. And that is the Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia fight, where Gervonta Davis gives a little insight into why he did something with Ryan Garcia, specifically checking his chin and what that means for the fight. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. Man, we are getting close to this fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. And we're getting some good insight out of Gervonta Davis, who I got to say is being a lot more vocal before this fight and doing a lot more apparently experienced job of promoting the fight. And he reveals some information about why he did something to Ryan Garcia at the weigh-in. And we're going to talk about that in this video. But before I do, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you a ton for all of the support that you give to the channel. As you know, we are most definitely publicly funded. So appreciate you to everybody that donates in the super thanks of videos like this. Really does mean a lot. But let's get into this because Gervonta Davis did something and he confirmed what I thought he was doing. And something that I thought that he was doing to Ryan Garcia, and I also thought he did to Hector Garcia before the fight with Hector Garcia, which is checking the temperature of Ryan Garcia. But in this specific thing that I'm talking about is when in the first weigh-in that he had with Ryan Garcia, where he literally took his fist and touched the chin of Ryan Garcia. And he gave his thoughts on, an explanation as to why he did that. And it's something that I think, man, is like one of the things that I look at in weigh-ins, I look at in face-offs to see, not necessarily see how people react from my point of view, but to try to see, okay, why do they do this? Why do they do that? And this is what Gervonta Davis's response was. He was like, first of all, I was checking my range. So I wanted to see, based on how tall he was, if I was here, where I need to throw my punch. So he literally threw the punch and sized him up. Now, he also said and I didn't take this into, too much. Maybe I should have taken it seriously, but, to me, it doesn't make as much sense. As he said, he touched it to see whether his chin was soft or not, right? And he said, man, that's soft. He said that chin was soft as toilet tissue. And I don't know what that means. Like if you touch it, if it gives in or whatever, you can kind of see Ryan Garcia has a little bit of he doesn't have a big head, number one. And then his jaw is kind of streamlined jaw versus the head that the Gervonta Davis's, how his cranium looks. Some of y'all just gotta say pause because something's wrong with y'all out there in the comment section. I get it every time I say this, but whatever. That's what he said. Now, for me, I noticed that he did that with Hector Garcia. And what I noticed that he did with Hector Garcia was when he was coming across the ring towards Hector Garcia in the face-off for their fight, is that he raised his hands to see what reaction he would get out of Hector Garcia. And then he would kind of like move his head back and forth, right, to see kind of what Hector Garcia's instincts would be while he did that. And I do not believe that is happenstance at all. I do not believe that that Gervonta is doing that stuff without planning it out and trying to see things. Now, before this was ever said, shout out to the Rise Podcast. The Rise Podcast, specifically Senior from the Rise Podcast, who was in the live stream on the channel, said, look, man, we really did learn a lot at that weigh-in, the face-off with Ryan Garcia, and basically talking about that same thing. Now, Ryan Garcia, for his part, said when he was asked about it, said it didn't make any difference to him because he said, look, man, I chin checked him too. I did the same thing, right? I saw, but here's the difference. And look, man, this is just my opinion. But here's the difference. Gervonta Davis did it first and he did it intentionally. Ryan Garcia then reacted to what it was. Ryan Garcia then reacted to what it was that Gervonta Davis did, right? But anyway, I just think that it is a very, very interesting look into the mindset of fighters and what they look at and kind of scouting out people beforehand, because you look at the film, fighters look at film, right? And they can see what the tendencies are of fighters and all of that. But to actually do it with a person in front of you, to actually get a sense of how tall they are, how long they are, what their instincts are, right? That to me is one of the more interesting things about fights. Now, in the lead into it, similarly, there's another situation that I look for, or should I say, I've been told to look for, and as a consequence, I always do now, is at the weigh-in. And whether or not somebody right after they get off the scale, whether they immediately drink water or whether or not they get off the scale, they put their shoes on and all that stuff, and they don't immediately go get water. Because what that can give you is a sense of is how drained the fighter is, how much he had to deprive his body in order to make that weight. Right. So just the more I watch boxing, the more I listen to fighters, the more interesting that it gets to me to kind of see these little nuances. Right. Muhammad Ali did the same, got a lot of that with Sonny Liston, where he psyched out Sonny Liston in a weigh-in, or I think it was in a press conference before the fight when it was the weigh-in when he went ballistic, and Sonny Liston was like, man, this dude is kind of crazy, managed to get into this guy's head. Now, Ryan Garcia, for his part, when he talks about it, he said, look, man, this guy's not going to get in my head. I don't think a lot of that stuff really means anything, but people, if it didn't mean anything, people really wouldn't be trying to do it. And also those real life measurements that you're getting from people to see how tall they are, see how long they are and all of that. I think that there's some real truth to that, because again, you can't get any of that stuff off tape. Now, as far as both of those guys look standing next to each other at the time, the one perspective that I did get is that Ryan Garcia is he's not as big as Gervonta Davis is, but he is taller, and he is at least from he's definitely looking down at Gervonta, and Gervonta's definitely looking up, right? But we'll see how it plays out in the actual fight. Should be fun to know, to see. Again, is when I do I'm going to do a final prediction video on it, but I think that Ryan Garcia is definitely a live underdog in the fight. He's going to come with a game plan. He didn't look very good at the public workout that they had about 2 days ago. The media workout really didn't look good, looked kind of lethargic, looked like making that weight was kind of tough on him. But at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.